Hey everybody, it's the Dude here. Just want to let you know that TT's story is absolutely amazing, but it does start off with something a little traumatic. So if you're listening to this with little kids or something, just give them a heads up. Thanks. Enjoy the Chatcast. Bye.
Well, cool? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Tashi Sangye Thondup, known as TT on the floor. Going back to my childhood, all I remember was I was born in Tibet.
Welcome to Childhood Chatcast with the Dude. I'm the Dude, and as usual, I'm joined by Jake. Hey, Jake.
Hey, Dude.
And we're going to take a deep dive into the kid experts here at Children's Minnesota's Childhoods to find out what makes us all the same. Because, hey, we were all kids once, and as a twist, I am going to try to guess their birthday.
Their birthdays?
Their exact birthday, the date and year. So join us in the time machine I built out of cardboard boxes and duct tape, and let's meet our guest.
Hey, Dude.
Hey, Jake.
Have you ever...
Can I just jump in for a second? Before we do this intro, maybe we have to start all over with this one, because this episode of the Chatcast was unlike anything else we've done. I think people will be riveted by TT's story. His story is one for the ages. It's absolutely incredible. We were floored right away. And I think our listeners will too. So take a listen.
Going back to my childhood, all I remember was I was born in Tibet. Communist China took over Tibet. So all my family were butchered in one day. So my neighbor took pity on me. That time I was about a year old, or maybe 6-7 months or a year old. And he put me in a basket and crossed over the border to Nepal. So the neighbor was an old guy. He put me in an orphanage in Nepal. And then he disappeared. I don't know where. He must have died by now because he was already an old man. What I remember my childhood is I never had shoes or slippers. I just had a shorts, one t-shirt for about a year, I remember. And I remember that orphanage was very poor. We survived by eating oatmeal, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Wow.
And there was a pond nearby. We used to always go and swim as a kid. And sometimes there were kids who were taken out by the water. They got drowned. There was no supervision done. And then, luckily, one day what happened was an American gentleman, he was a priest. In 1960s, they ran Catholic schools back in India. So when he heard about the situation in Tibet and that kids are fleeing all over wherever the nearest border was, so I was in Nepal. So he flew to Nepal, and from the orphanage, I was adopted by him.
Wow. That is incredible. I knew asking you to do this would be a story. That is an incredible story. Let's just jump. So would you say that's one of your first memories?
Yes, that's first memory,
very
yes.
early on. It was an orphanage in Tibet.
Not in Tibet, in Nepal.
Oh, in Nepal.
Yeah.
Okay. But you were born in Tibet.
I was born in Tibet.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know that throughout the years, I've learned just a little bit about you, but I don't think a lot of people know a lot about, they know who you are today, but this is why we talk about childhoods. Mm-hmm. And if that's okay, we'll start back when you were very little. So this orphanage was, you said, like very poor, obviously. Yeah. But what did you do? You were still a kid. You must have like played, and what were you able to do?
Well, since it was a poor orphanage, we never had toys.
No toys?
No toys
Nothing.
at all. No chocolate in the mouth. No sweets. There was nothing. It's just for survival for yourself. So we kids used to play with stones or sticks or, broken wheels of bicycles.
You had to use your imagination more
imagination,
than
nothing. Yeah, just survive.
Obviously, no TV.
No
radio?
No. During those, we never had radio. No. So it was a very, very challenging times.
Wow.
But
what were you like with the other kids? I would imagine other kids really liked you.
Yes. We were Kids were kids, so
You had each other.
we had each other.
It was
and,
like family. Like they were
exactly.
your brothers and
Yeah,
sisters
yeah.
once you lost yours.
Yeah, we didn't have too much elder kids. We were almost of the same age
Okay.
group. After that, when I got adopted, my dad, his name was Father J. Wilmus, a native of Cincinnati, Ohio,
Okay.
a Caucasian priest. He was a principal of St. Xavier's High School back in Jaipur, India. So I was blessed. After that, my life was good. I had a good school life because my dad was principal of the school.
Oh, okay.
Really nice Catholic school. All the Tibetans are born Buddhist. But
okay.
I am the odd one out because I was born Buddhist but brought up as a Catholic.
Oh, sure.
So
Okay.
till today, I practice Catholic.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
Catholic.
How old were you when you were adopted?
I was about 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so overwhelmed. I had no idea,
Yeah,
but your
no.
story is so incredible. Okay. Let's just hang out in the orphanage for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
How many other kids were there? Do you remember? Was it a large group or was this just a really small?
I think there were about, at the most, 12 to 13
Okay.
in my group. Yeah, it was a very poor, rundown
Yeah.
place.
What did you sleep on?
On the floor.
Just the floor.
We didn't have proper mattresses. Blankets, kids used to share the blankets, pulling and pushing, and
Yeah.
it was a mess. But, you forget when time passes by, you forget, childhood, you don't. But it was a challenge.
So
Mix of both boys and girls?
There was just boys.
Just boys there?
Just boys.
just boys. And so 2.5, you're adopted
Yeah.
by this
Jesuit priest. Yeah.
Jesuit priest.
Yeah.
And then you moved to India
And then I moved to India from Nepal.
from Nepal.
Yeah.
Okay.
In those days, adoption was very easy. Didn't have too much bureaucratic paperwork, nothing. Hey, you want how many kids? 1, 2, 3? Okay, go. They want to get rid of you. So, yeah. So,
How many kids do you want?
Yeah, how many kids you want?
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
so-
Do you have coupons? Did you remember
Yeah,
your
2 for 1?
Yeah,
2 for 1.
two for one.
And then it was from a priest, you said, from Cincinnati.
Yes, a Caucasian priest.
What
from
was
Cincinnati.
he doing in India?
He-
Was he on a mission?
Yes.
Okay.
Their headquarters is in Omaha, Nebraska, I guess. Those days, Catholic priests were sent to all parts of India to spread love,
Spread the word of the
Christianity.
Lord.
Yeah,
Yep, the
exactly.
mission.
So,
Sure.
mission. And during those days in 1960, I am honestly telling you, they did a wonderful job. The school where I went to during those time, it was one of the top-notch school in India.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Really.
Cool.
Without this father's Jesuits' help, education in India would have been very difficult.
Yeah. So do you start learning English right away?
Yeah, right away from kindergarten, we started learning English
Yep.
with an Indian accent, but yes, English.
Sure.
It was an English medium school. Very nice.
So now that you've been adopted,
Yeah.
now you're exposed to toys, maybe some television. Is that true?
Yes.
Toys you were playing with once you were in India.
Well, in India, we had a lot of toys. The school, we had a full library, we had sports, we had the best of the best. So in India, yes. And then, of course, since it was an English medium school, whatever sports you have, we have it here in US. We had it there.
Okay.
Baseball,
Yep.
football.
Did you play 'em
American
all?
football. I was jack of all. I was in the gymnastic team. I went to the swimming till the state level. And I played cricket. I played field hockey. And I was good at it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. You took advantage of all of it once you were exposed to those things.
Yeah, we were so blessed.
That's great. Now at home, did you have other siblings, brothers and sisters that he adopted or was part
No.
of? No, it was just you?
It's a long story. You guys will be surprised to hear.
Okay.
What happened was, out of that orphanage, I was alone. I didn't know I had a sister. Back in India, when my father took me from Nepal to India, I used to have dreams, and I used to, a name of my sister used to come on my tongue, my mouth. I used to always say, where's my sister? Somo, Somo, Somo. Her name was Somo, Tsomo. So I used to always tell my friends, no, I have a sister whose name is Somo. So after 27 years just calling, one day I met her.
Wow.
Didn't see her from my birth. I didn't know her. And it's just the name, I just remember in the back of my head.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name?
Just subconscious. It was just, I know I had a sister, her name was Somo. So I
And
told,
you wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known. I had visited a city called Calcutta in India. On my way to Taiwan, I went to Taiwan to get my chef course. So I stopped in Calcutta for a day or two. In the market, I met a Tibetan old guy. When I looked at him, I got scared. I've never met him in my life. I knew he was a part of the puzzle in my life. I got scared. I said, "Sir, do you know me?" He said, in Tibetan, "Aren't you Tashi?" I said, that scared me more.
Right.
I said, "How do you know?" I said, "I know you." I said, "I've never met you in my life. You were never part of my life. I know you and your family. So who's there? Do I have siblings, brothers, sisters?" He says, "You still have one sibling alive, an older sister who lives in this state in India." I said, "What's her name?" He said, "Somo," the same name I used to.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And then I asked him a little bit of my background. He said, "Yes, your dad used to be a governor of a province back in Tibet. When the communist Chinese first moved to Tibet, they first got rid of all the high-ranking people, the royal family, the learned family. So your parents were among them.
Oh, wow.
Slaughtered,
Goodness.
and
Wow.
one day they killed. And so your house was this. I still remember your door. It was made in Italy. Blah blah. He told me a lot
knew
of
all
stories.
about you.
He knew all about me,
And your family.
and I got more scared of him.
And this is some random
Guy.
in a marketplace? you
Yeah,
said?
in the marketplace. So subconsciously, when I was growing up till I was about 13 or 14, I think I saw myself in my earlier birth. I used to see places. I used to think we had a lot of horses, about 20, 30 of them. And I used to always be the horses, and I used to jump and climb the horses, Later on, I came to know that my dad owned a lot of horses. So it's all
Just that subconscious coming
subconscious
back to you.
coming
all
back
this
to,
time.
yeah. It is all true.
So let's go back to sports a little bit.
Yeah, sports.
So you played everything. You were good?
Oh, yes, we were very good. But, I was a school team, couple of sports, and we went to other states in good schools to compete, and we always used to win. And St. Xavier's Jaipur, during those days, was a name. All the kids were saying, "Oh, they're coming to play. They are the best." So I was a jack of all. I played all sports.
Did you have a favorite?
Soccer, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, and gymnastics I did.
Do you still do gymnastics?
You parallel?
I wish.
Were you a parallel bars guy? Uneven bars?
Yes.
Yeah.
Parallel bar was okay. Roman rings was a little difficult.
Yeah.
The most difficult,
Nope.
the most difficult was that pommel horse.
Yeah.
That was the most difficult.
Like in the pommel horse version of doing the
Right.
pommel
Yeah,
horse,
doing
not
the-
necessarily.
Yeah,
the
you're
fall.
always on your
doing
hands.
the round,
Yeah. And you
that
can't-
was
your
the
legs-
most difficult. Yeah.
Nope.
Your legs can't touch.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's all
yeah,
through.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah,
my
all
gosh.
muscle. Yeah.
Wow.
I can't
So-
bend my knee without wincing nowadays. Could you imagine trying to throw your whole body weight around that thing?
No. Okay, so what about movies? Do you
Well,
remember
yes.
the first movie you saw? Because you must have not seen a movie for the first.
age, yeah. Back in school, every Saturday we used to have movies. Yeah, we have a movie theater in the school, a full-fledged big church.
Yeah.
So I grew up seeing Tom and Jerry and Western movies.
Or westerns?
Western. Every Saturday was the best day of a school day because we had movies and special dinner. So I was in the hostel all my life. So we had really good food and movies, and it was a treat on Saturdays. So I grew up watching Tom and Jerry
Yep.
and Western movies. And then all the old movies like collectible, like Guns of Navarone, Ben-Hur, Judah Ben-Hur.
Yep.
Ben-Hur,
Yeah.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia, all those good ones, classic ones, yes.
Yeah.
We used to bunk school and go and watch us,
Wow. So then what about music? Were you listening to
music, Indian music.
a lot of Indian?
A
Okay.
lot of Indian. During those days, even if we didn't see the movie in the theater, but we caught the lyrics. It was just in the air. We were young. We just caught it like that. So I still remember all those lyrics of those old movies.
That's
Just
awesome.
as kids these days, my little son, he knows all the latest lyrics. And I'm said, how do you know? It just comes to me, he says.
It's just that repetitiveness.
Yeah,
And seeing
yeah.
it so many times. That's great.
So you were getting some of the American culture through the movies,
Through the-
obviously.
yes.
What about music? This would have been in the 60s and 70s. Were
Yeah.
you listening to
Yes, Carpenters.
Oh, the Carpenters.
Yeah, the Beatles.
Beatles? Yep.
Oh,
Elvis.
Yeah, the Elvis. That guy who sang that, it's Rhinestone called?
Glenn Campbell.
Glenn
Glenn
Campbell.
Campbell was very popular. And the guy who died in an air crash, young,
John Denver.
John Denver was very popular in
Right.
India.
Wow. Was he really?
Really, people didn't know his name. They used to sing his song.
Thank God I'm a country boy.
Yeah.
So what were you doing outside of school for fun? And what were you interested in?
Fun. We used to always bunk school and go for movies. We did just the normal things as the kids do. During my vacations,
Yeah.
since my dad stayed in the school premises because he's a Jesuit priest, he didn't have home in India. So I used to go for my vacations with my friends. I am blessed that I'm very rich with friends.
Yeah.
I've got very good friends for life. This year I go to your house, next year I go to his house, and their parents would pay for my air ticket.
Wow.
We were
really?
there. Really,
Where
I
did you
swear.
go? What
I
place?
went all over India. All those people, students studying with me, are all from influential family, rich family. So everybody was loaded except for me because my dad is a priest.
Yeah.
He just gets a stipend. And
Right.
that's it. So
You got to go with your
Yeah,
friends
so my
on
friends used to-
vacations. How awesome is that?
my friends used to bear all my expenses.
Wow.
All my life.
That's awesome.
That is so cool. Wow.
So my dad was alive till I was in high school.
Okay.
So when I was almost completing my high school, he died of old age at the age of 89. And then my world ended. Off and again, didn't know where to do, what to do. Nobody. It was tough.
Oh, I bet.
Young.
poor kid.
Yeah. Didn't know where to go. Nobody to guide me. So, luckily, before my dad died, he got me the Indian citizen.
Yeah, you're an Indian
Yeah,
official.
Indian citizen, because he was very influential.
Uh-huh.
So he said, this kid, he needs to have some stabilities. So that helped me because later on, it was easy for me to stay back in India.
So then you just said you're an orphan again.
Yeah,
and
again.
It's like, oh my gosh.
2 times, yeah.
You're still in high school.
Yeah.
So you just stayed at the church
Yeah. Nowhere to go.
on your own.
Yeah, then
Just
when I...
just there in school.
That's it.
Was it? Do your friends just after you graduated? Did everybody just kind of go their own way, either to college or the military or everything?
Yeah. So after I completed my high school, then my best friend, he said, come over to my house. So I spent 6 months at his house, and his dad said, if you want to live here forever, you can live, but you got to have a purpose in life. So I'm thinking...
You graduated high school now?
1976, yes.
Okay, so you've now
Yeah,
you're graduated.
76.
Okay, yeah.
And then after that, I joined the Air Force of India.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow,
7 years. Raised till second lieutenant.
that was your purpose. You found.
I went till there. And then 7 years I did 27 para jumps. I did a lot of training, sniper training, climbed the deadliest mountains in India. I did all those things when I was young. Yeah. There was a point of time when I was sent in the borders of India and China. I was one of the youngest soldiers, and when I used to go in guard and go for patrolling, I used to feel so proud that I am the youngest soldier and I'm ready. You were young, you were not afraid, and you know, it was minus 20 degrees. You don't feel cold, no?
Right.
So
Oh my gosh, TT! It's just so mind-boggling.
I've had a good life. Yeah.
You have but how it started
Yeah.
to where that it became, and then losing your dad,
Yeah.
and then finding your path through, and the Air Force obviously was the thing that kind of
right.
gave you a
stability.
Stability.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even get into this. We don't really get into adult life because we just talk about childhood. But this is fascinating.
So interesting that,
because we are going to talk about one thing in your adult life. And you told me once you lived in New York City?
Yes.
Or for a little while?
15 years.
15 years. That was so a good chunk of time. And you were a barista, made coffee, or ran a coffee shop?
For a mafia guy. Big guy.
For a mafia guy. That's right.
Borgia family. He was one of the top during those days. Yeah. And he had my back. I didn't have a proper green card, nothing. He said, as long as you're with me, you don't need nothing of those. I was the managing one of his big cafeteria in Manhattan. It was called Cafe Borgia.
And you told me you got really good at memorizing people's orders because you could get 12, 15 orders and remember them and then go make them. And
that's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
That's so great. First and foremost, Titi, thank you so much for your time today. Greatly appreciate you being on with us.
This has been absolutely fascinating. I am so... Oh my gosh, I'm blown. I don't even... The birthday thing is just out the window.
We don't even need that anymore. That's just a bonus for us.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much for your time, TT.
Thank you.
This was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for joining us for today's Childhood Chatcast, brought to you by Buzzsprout. To get new and previous episodes of Childhood Chatcast, head over to starstudiomn.org.